What is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper, with Call Her Daddy.
Trinity Rodman, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, so happy to be
No, Trinity, you just walked in here and you go, what did you just say? You're like, I only talk about soccer.
Yeah, this is new territory. You don't want me to just talk about kicking a ball around the field? What?
I want to talk about corner kicks this entire fucking
Perfect,
time.
because I don't take them, so I'm going to just see what happens. My first corner kick was in the championship 4 years into my pro.
Stop.
I literally walk up to the corner and I was like, what are we doing? Championship, we're losing. There's like a couple minutes left. I'm standing there like, everyone's looking like,
No, stop.
yeah.
I love how I say that. And you're like, okay, I actually will.
I have a story.
No, stop. You're like, I have a story. Can this take up an hour? You're going to be fine today. Okay, I've got you. First of all, I do just have to say, I'm so fucking happy that I'm meeting you because I had a show on Peacock during the Olympics and you saw? Okay.
I saw you going crazy.
Bitch, I cried when you won. Okay. So I got there and they were like, oh, we're going to have you cover all the sports. And I was like, please let me just cover soccer with a little bit of gymnastics because I know soccer.
Yeah.
And they were like, maybe. And then they saw me talk about soccer and they're like, okay, Jesus Christ, just do fucking soccer.
You have to stay.
You have to stay. And when you guys won gold, I cried.
Same.
Okay, great. Oh, fuck. Obviously. We're going to start with some easy ones.
Okay.
How did you celebrate winning gold?
Oh my gosh. I cried. I like collapsed and cried. But I don't know. I feel like there's like no true celebration afterwards because, hey, you got to go back to your season in NWSL. So we celebrated like the night of, partied with our coaches and our staff and everything. That was fun. And I didn't take the medal off. Even the flight home, like it was glued to my neck.
When did you first take it off?
Probably when I went to sleep when I got home because I was like, okay, that's a lot. But even through security, I was like trying to wear it and they were like, no. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like staring at it through the thing.
Wait, where did you put it when you went to bed?
I have this little case that I got when we won in 2021 for my ring, but it's like big. And so I just put it in there. Hopefully it's still there. I haven't checked on it in a minute.
Wait, what?
I should probably check to see if she's okay.
Casual, just gold medal sitting somewhere random. What is your pregame ritual? Do you have any superstitions?
I feel like I have so many little superstitions. So gum is one. I can't live without gum.
Really?
For soccer. So like I'll go through probably 3 or 4 pieces of gum a game. And if I am going on the field and I don't have gum in my mouth, like I'll throw a tantrum. Like I'm a diva. Like I need gum. That's the one thing. Screw water. I need gum.
Wait, what kind of gum?
Anything peppermint. Spearmint, it can die.
No.
Yeah. What else? I have to sit in the same spot on the bus on the way to the game every single time. I have to stand in the same spot for warm up behind my girl Tara. There's so many things. I have to have at home games. I have to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Red Bull's essential for energy and psychotic behavior in the locker room. So many things.
No, the locker room before games is feral. There are some people that are so chill and quiet, and then there are the people that are rowdy. Are you rowdy?
Do you want to answer that?
No.
Yeah, I'm the person that the chill ones hate because we have the people in our locker room that have their headphones on, they're stretching, they're down, they're not talking to anybody, and I'm bouncing like a crazy person around the locker room. I'm like trying to take their headphones off. I'm like, come on. So yeah, I'm the annoying person and I just can't help it. I can't be chill for a game because like I said earlier, it just psychs me out more and I get nervous and I'm like, if I'm just on 10 the entire time, you can't be scared.
No, I was the same way. Like I would be the person just like talking and I wouldn't shut the fuck up and everyone would be like, Cooper, go sit in your fucking locker room. And I'm like, I don't want to sit in my locker and think about what's about to happen. I'd rather not.
Manifest?
Absolutely no, never. So I pretend I'm like about to like go out for a fun night. Like I'm not thinking straight. Because then the people that are meditating, you're like, my God, you have like a really strong brain and I don't want to be a part of that energy.
Yeah, couldn't relate. Like what are we meditating about? What are we thinking? What's on the brain? There's
never.
Nothing.
Obviously, especially during the Olympics, like the entire world was talking about you. Everyone knows your name. And I think aside from your talent, I think a lot of people in media, press, on social media, a lot of people wanted to hear you talk about and wanted to ask you, about your dad.
Mm.
For those of the daddy gang that don't know, of my audience, your father.
What's a dad?
Yeah.
Daddy gang, let me know.
What's a dad? Cut that. What's a dad? Yeah, let's just kick it right off. You're like, what is a father? Let me know. Your dad is Dennis Rodman. He's one of the most famous basketball players of all time. He played alongside Michael Jordan. He had a very controversial career. He was known for crazy partying, hooking up with women, getting in trouble on and off the court. And you have never really talked about what was going on in your family behind the scenes. And today we're going to get into it. What made you feel ready?
Oh gosh. I think, well, just a warning, I laugh a lot when I'm trying to like talk about something serious.
Okay.
So I think with the dad situation, in terms of like what I've filtered and what I've talked about, I feel like me and my brother have been very generous with the way that we've talked about it and very unselfish. I think we never want to make him look bad. And that is at the cost of kind of holding in a lot and a lot of issues that we've gone through and just like trauma per se.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like I've been in a place of going through interviews where people are like, oh, was your dad there? Like, what's your dad feeling? And I feel like I've tried to make it obvious that I don't know. I don't know how he's feeling. I don't know where he is. Like, so for my own sanity, getting those questions, it frustrates me because I'm like, I don't want to blame the interviewers of like, okay, you don't deep dive into my life. But at the same time, I've made it clear that he's not present.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess this is my opportunity to kind of talk more, I don't want to say negatively, but more realistic about it.
Yeah, but I can imagine, like, I feel like I've sat down with so many people and it's like, it's tough when you're trying to protect someone that, yes, whether you love or you don't or whatever your dynamic is, like, it's your dad. And everyone has a very specific idea of your father, but none of us are his children, right? Like, we have an idea of what we saw on a Netflix special and what we watched back in the day if you're watching his games, but you have a lived, breathed experience of this man as your father that people are looking, I think, in a glamorized way for you to talk like, what's it like? Dennis Rodman's your dad. This is so cool. And you're literally like, next question. So I think it's fair for you to talk about your life in a realistic way because you are also a public figure and you are famous in your own right now. And so you're allowed to speak about your experience. Let's go back to the beginning. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by eBay. This is what you do when you have high standards and fancy all the fancy things, like a Dior saddlebag or that diamond tennis bracelet. You go to eBay. There you'll find new loves that will never disappoint, expertly authenticated, whether it's that vintage pearl necklace or brand new ruby earrings, a Prada crossbody bag, or classic watches like that Rolex Oyster or that Cartier tank. On eBay, there are no limits to your high standards. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love. We're going to go back to the beginning. Where did you grow up and what was your hometown like?
Okay, well, I grew up in Newport Beach, which, as everyone kind of knows, it's a very wealthy area. And I loved growing up in Newport. It was amazing, beautiful place. But growing up in a wealthy place when you don't have money is a different struggle. And I think that was really difficult for me, my mom, and my brother, just because we were going to the schools where everyone had money. And it was like, we're going to school. Like in high school, I was sharing a room with my mom, which is like crazy. So it's like just the little things of being a normal high schooler, a middle schooler, where you're like, you want to invite friends over. And it's like, not that I'm embarrassed of the way that I grew up, but at the time it was like, I don't want to invite friends over. I don't want them to know I sleep with my mom. Like, just like little stuff like that. So growing up in Newport was good, but hard because I want to like keeping up with the Joneses. I feel like that was kind of a struggle of like, people knew that we didn't have money, but it was more so like, how do we look not completely broke during that time? So yeah, with like soccer and everything, we got help a lot from one of my club coaches, Greg Baker. He kind of set me up and helped me. Thank God I was talented or else I don't know where I would be, but he helped me, and he gave me those opportunities that I wouldn't have had because I couldn't pay for certain things. So a lot of things we worked for, but also in a way were handed just because we were talented. So that did help. But yeah, especially with sports, it was very difficult to like travel and go to hotels and do these away trips when we didn't have the money to stay at these like Marriott's. Like we were at like Holiday Inn. Like that's what we could afford. So it was just hard because I would then find teammates. Is it okay if like I come? And then my mom couldn't come sometimes. And it was just interesting. Like we were trying, like we did the best at being humble and being grateful for everything. But at the same time, it was really hard.
Yeah.
Even just like after school, like at a cookie truck, I'd be like, Mom, can I have $1 for this cookie? Like one time. And I know that sounds horrible, but that has made me, I feel like, more humble now.
Yeah.
Experiencing that, being in a wealthy area and not having it, we made it through and we're great people and like it worked out. So
going back though, like, okay, you talking about growing up in Newport, and I agree. I feel like people that aren't obviously from California, but I feel like you hear about it, or even you like watch the show The OC and Orange County and Newport, like there's such extreme wealth. How do you think you growing up and not having money impacted you like as a kid in your personality? Like were you shy? Were you reserved? Were you loud? Like what kind of kid were you?
Yeah, I think naturally I've always been a more outgoing person, especially when you get to know me, but I definitely think not having money to do certain things changed the way that I was with people because I wasn't as confident. And I also couldn't go to things that people were going to. It was like, oh, do you want to go? Even just going to like fast food and chilling in the parking lot, I was like, no, I don't have money to go to In-N-Out right now or to go to Krispy Kreme. And it was embarrassing to be like, hey, I don't have money. So I think, yeah, through even now, like I have a really close friend from middle school that I'm still friends with. And that's like probably my one friend from middle school. And then my friend from high school. So that's like my two friends. And those are the only people I hung out with. And even through high school, I went to a private school for 1 year. I was like eating lunch in the bathroom sometimes because me and my brother didn't have the same lunch and he was like my person. So like growing up, I would have all his same teachers. Like I was a year after him. So I would just follow in his footsteps every single time. It was annoying because he was really good in school and I was horrible. So it was like they loved DJ and like hated me. But yeah, we didn't have the same lunch. So I was like, didn't have friends to sit with. So like lunch would happen. I didn't have money to pay for it at school. So then it was like the bell rings and it's like, fuck, what do I do? Where do I go? Like, do I go to a teacher's room? Do I just like stay in the cafeteria and act like I'm just like talking to people that I'm not even friends with? Like it was so bizarre.
But do you think you weren't making friends because you were just trying to like hide? Like it's not, or were people literally not liking you because they knew of your socioeconomic status?
Both, because I feel like it went both ways. It was weird because for my brother, I feel like in the earlier years, it was harder for him to have friends. But as it went on, it was so easy. Like when we went to high school together, he had so many friends and like that's who I was going to. And then for me, it was completely different. So it's just weird. And we know like girls are very catty.
Yes.
And like cliquey. And I felt like I had come late. Like everyone had started freshman year. I got there sophomore year. So I had some soccer friends, but the vibes were just different. Like we were friends for soccer, but then in school it was like, okay, not the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just like people already had their cliques and I was just like too shy to be like desperate and like try to push my way into certain groups. And I'm just not that person. Like if I'm feeling you're not feeling me, then I'd rather sit in the bathroom.
You're like, peace.
Yeah. So I think it's a mixture, which was unfortunate, but now looking back, it's like funny. Because all those people are texting me now, and it's like,
of course,
interesting.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
How old were you when your parents got divorced?
Oh gosh. Google help.
I think you were like 2.
I feel like I was dealing with it even when I was like old enough to remember it, but I don't know.
It dragged on
you
for
probably
many
know more
years.
than me.
Do you remember like how did you see that affect your mom of like this divorce dragging on for so many years?
I mean, obviously, I cannot speak for her experiences because I feel like she didn't even really have time to think about it just because she had to deal with me and my brother and my sister. That girl. But anyway, I think my mom was dealing with a lot of shit from my dad for so long, and divorce was just like a name. That ship had sailed for the longest time, and she knew that, we knew that. And it really was like, before the divorce happened, my dad was actually helping money wise, so that was the difference of like, he would actually give money to my mom and let us kind of live life a little bit. But then when the divorce happened, it was just like, fuck you guys, like, we're getting enough money to pay rent, barely. And then we were just, I don't even know how we made it work, but somehow we were making it happen, and it was just crazy.
When you say that your mom you kind of knew that like that ship had sailed, like your mom had been dealing with so much, like how did your mom talk about your dad and his absence to you and your siblings?
My mom was really good at making every situation seem smoother than it actually was. And I think that's what parents do to protect their children. But yeah, I think even being young, it was like he partied all the time. He has this beach house in Newport or Huntington or whatever, wherever. And it was like, we tried to live with him, but he's having parties 24/7. He's bringing random bitches in. Like, my mom she was strong enough to deal with it, because even to this day, I still believe that my dad hasn't loved anyone after my mom. Like, I genuinely believe that. I think he doesn't know how to. I think they both felt the same way about each other, but his demons were just too strong for it. But yeah, I think my mom just saw the situation of, we love each other, it's not going to work. And for my kids, I can't have them seeing you treat me this way, embarrass me this way, and have the party scene all the time. You have little babies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you have any recollection of like watching them fight in front of each other, like in front of you?
I don't really remember so much younger, and I feel like me and my brother were very oblivious to it. But then once we got older, when he was in our lives less and we were seeing him 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year, every time they were together, it was the same shit. It was my mom being valid and, what the fuck are you doing? Like, help us and help your children. Mm. And he was just like, oh, you just use me for my money, ma. And even then it was like, that was all the fight was ever about, in front of us at least. It was just the money part and helping your children. And even then it was, my dad, he likes to be in control. So like, he would take us shopping, get us phones, do this, do that. Oh, I'm going to take you and your brother shopping. And me and my brother are like, we don't want to go shopping. We don't want to go shopping. Right. We just want money to go get in and out after school with our friends. Yeah. So it was like, he wouldn't give us money to do that. He needed to have the control of bringing us shopping and swiping his own card. Right. But if we asked, hey, could we have 100 to like go get food, go to Claire's, get my ears pierced, like just little stuff like that, he was like, no, you're using me. You're trying, like, all this stuff.
I think that's what's probably so confusing, even hearing you talk about this. Like, I think a lot of people would assume because you're Dennis Rodman's daughter, money wasn't an issue for you growing up, but that obviously wasn't the case. Yeah. Do you know why after the divorce, like, he would not pay child support?
I think then it was kind of like, that's not my problem anymore. And I don't even know. To try to justify his brain is so hard, because even now, I genuinely believe he's still in love with my mom, because he'll call me randomly and be like, how's your mom doing? Like, even before he asked how I'm doing. So whenever we would see each other, he was always just like almost trying to get my mom to fall in love with him again so that it could be a family thing, even if it was toxic. But I think once it was a divorce, it was like, all right, like, this is on you. Like,
yeah. I know you said like you were sleeping in a bed with your mom. Like, what was one of the worst circumstances living wise that you and your siblings had to go through during your childhood?
I'm like smiling about it because it was the best and worst situation, if that makes sense. So we had an expedition and we kind of lived in that for a little bit. Mind you, in Newport Beach.
An expedition, like a car.
Yeah. Okay. Like Newport Beach, we're going to, I think this is when we were at, Ensign by Newport Harbor. So we were still in Newport. So imagine living in a car going to like a rich school. Like, it's the most weird thing. But we were living in a car, but then we could afford to stay in a motel for a little bit. So we were kind of back and forth, like what nights we could pay for, how many nights we could pay for. But I'm saying it's the best because me and my brother, my mom is obviously like prideful and like she never wants to be looked at that way of like not being able to provide for her kids. Mm-hmm. So like my mom's like, I'm sorry that like we had to do that. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But me and my brother are just like, what? That was so much fun. Like as a kid, we lived in a motel and our routine every morning, we would make those waffles in the waffle machine in the motel breakfast, like before school. And then we'd go in, my mom would let us go into the hot tub in the pool. So like this is all preschool, like fun stuff in the morning. So this is like us getting up 6:30, 7 a.m., making our waffles, jumping in the pool, chilling in the hot tub, playing, being like best friends, and then showering, getting dressed, and then we would drive to school in this like beat up expedition when everybody else is in like Rolls Royces and Range Rovers and all that stuff. But for me and DJ, it was like never embarrassing in the weirdest way. It was weird, and we knew that we were kind of like the odd man out,
yeah,
in a sense, but we never ever would like rush out of the car or like be like, Mom, pick us up over here, or like it was never like that. So yeah, going back, long story short, it's like worst and best situation because me and my brother look back and we're like, that was so fun in the weirdest way.
How long do you think you lived in a car for?
It wasn't that long. We were in that motel for months. But again, it was fun, even as an adult. Like, I'm like, that was fun.
And I also think that's such a testament to your mom, right?
Yeah.
Because I think as you get older and you start to recognize like the reality of life, the fact that you guys were able to see those moments as just genuinely so joyful, like your mom was protecting you in such a beautiful way and you had these like awesome memories. That's such a testament to your mother.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, she's not like she had an easy childhood. Like she didn't have a father figure either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she went through her own struggles while somehow making our life extremely fun being broke, which is insane because everything costs money. So how do you have fun? But it's just weird.
Do you think you were like, you never found yourself ever resentful of your situation?
No.
That's amazing.
Never resentful. Obviously, there were times where it was like our friends would be doing stuff and we couldn't go.
Yeah.
Or like we just didn't want to go because we didn't want to ask people for money.
Yeah.
So it was never resentment. It was more so like, damn, I wish I could have went there.
This is an advertisement from BetterHelp. I cannot express how much of a game changer therapy has been for me over the past few years. I would not be anywhere near where I am today without it. Going on a therapy journey gave me the tools I needed to set healthy boundaries, practice clear communication, and end the unhealthy habits that were holding me back. Setting aside time to focus on yourself is so crucial for personal growth. And Daddy Gang, you do not have to do it alone. In a society that glorifies being extremely independent, it's so easy for us to forget that we are so much better when we have a support system. Therapy can be that amazing source of support you're looking for in any area of your life, whether you're working on finding balance or you're goal setting or you're trying to break toxic patterns. It all just gets so much easier when you ask for help. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/daddy. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/daddy. When I was doing research, I was looking like when you were 9 years old, your dad was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And when I'm listening to you talk right now, I'm like, okay, you're 9.
So many things happened. It's crazy.
Right? Like, I'm like,
forget.
Hold on. This man is on a stage getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And where are you when you're 9?
No, and that's the crazy part is like we still were going to those events. Like we were just a happy little family, like getting dressed, getting styled, like his jersey retirement, all those things that we attended to while we're like not financially, like it was just the weirdest thing because it was like we did things for him and we've always done things for him. It's like he wanted to have a good image of having his family by him. And we were like, yeah, we'll go. It's so exciting. Like,
So at that point in your life, just to try to get an understanding, throughout, like, I would say your first, like, 15 years of life, let's say, how often would you see your dad?
When we were younger, it was more.
Okay.
Way more. And then I think as we got older and understood the situation more, my mom became stronger in the situation. That's when it was less. And I would say by the time we were in, I'll say like 7th grade until even now, it was 3-4 times a year.
Okay.
When we lived in the same city.
And did you ever live with him?
When we were really young. But that's when we were like right after we were born.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that long because my mom was over the party and she was just like, we're getting out.
We're done.
Yeah.
In his acceptance speech, he said the one thing he regretted was not being a better father. You just rolled your eyes.
Yeah, because it's just like, do I believe him? Yeah, I do believe that he wishes that he could fight his demons. I roll my eyes because it's like you hear something so many times, but he does nothing to change it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish I was a better dad. He said that in so many interviews. Like, I could pull them up.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Then do something. And I think what the most frustrating part about it is I think with how successful he was and how rich he was surrounded by a lot of toxic people who would take his money and take advantage of him. And because he was in alcohol, he was kind of brainwashed and all that, didn't really have control over anything. I don't know. That was just... So I think, again, the rolling eyes comes from we tried to be that foundation and to be the good people around him. Because in reality, like, we never really asked for anything unless we really needed it.
Yeah.
Like, me, my mom, and my brother, it was like, we just want you. And I think for him, he's never understood the fact, because he's never experienced it. He's had messed up family issues as well. He's never understood that people could actually just want to be around him and to just want to, like, make him happy. He's always thinking money, 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 when it's like, no.
Yeah, like what a horrible situation where you're like, wait, no, dad, like yes, we're coming to you for money because we're literally living in a fucking car,
Yeah.
but we also want you. But he's so paranoid of whatever's going on in his life that he can't like accept what you guys are trying to give him. And so it's like this cat and mouse game where you guys feel like you're constantly being rejected, but you're coming with the best intentions.
Yeah, and it's just hard because it's like, even now, I'm like trying to be honest about it and I'm still giving him sympathy, which is like frustrating for me because in reality, I think he's an extremely selfish human being. I think everything has always been about him. He's gone through shit, but at the same time, I'm like, he loves the spotlight. He loves the cameras. He loves bringing his children on stage and being like, oh, these are my kids. Like, all that stuff. And even like the mind... I've been cussing. That's new for me. I was going to say the mind fuck, but like of him, like for me emotionally, he's put me through like, oh my gosh, like even just him not talking to me for months and months. And then he randomly calls and he's like, hey, like I'm thinking of doing a reality TV show. You want to join? I'm just like, whoa. So like, that's the part where I have so much anger towards it of like, why have I been so nice about someone who's so selfish? And that's the thing with our entire family is like, you said it in the beginning of like us protecting him when he's never once protected us. He's almost made it worse because he has put us in the public light at a young age. So I guess it's just like the anger that I haven't really been able to let out is like difficult for me.
Yeah, but I feel like hearing you say this, like I've had people sit in that exact chair and it's like, fucked up dynamics with parents is so complicated because at the end of the day, they're still your parent. And there's like almost a brainwash you experience of like, you still want their love. You still want their validation. You still want them to like you. You still want him to like come to your games and think you're great and like see how great you're doing. But at the same time, you also want to be like, fuck you. You've never done anything for us. Like, and it's like this battle of, I get why I wouldn't expect anything other than you sitting here and going back and forth of like trying to protect him because you've never spoken about this. So I want to give you grace also of like, you're doing great because you are doing a really great job of explaining this like hard push and pull you have because it's your dad.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's like
hard.
what you're saying is like the weirdest thing because even when I'm like, even like going through a season where you're just like, damn, I'm just so over this. Like, I just want to go home and sleep. In moments like that, I'm like, damn, I wish I could just get a hug from my dad. When I don't even have that connection with him, like when he showed up at my game, I was like so mad.
Yeah,
like
can we
when
talk about that for
I
a second?
first saw him, yeah, I like kind of already start talking about everything, but
It's okay.
yeah, he showed up to my game. My mom had no idea until he was like there, and I think she got a call or something. But they were in the suite field side, and I again going in my rookie year, going into a quarterfinal, like I'm already shitting my pants as it is. Like I'm like stressed, like oh my gosh, like we have to win. So we go, I'm playing. I think it's like halfway through the first half, and I hear it. And like his voice to me is like, ding. So I hear him go, let's go, Rodman, let's go, Trinity. And I'm like, oh my fucking gosh. Like there's no way this is happening right now. Mind you, I haven't seen him or talked to him in months. So I hear it and I'm like, I'm playing a game, not like throw in nothing. Like I'm playing the game and I hear I'm running. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm still playing and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like chasing the ball down, trying to figure out a goal kick happens, right? I'm defending a goal kick. And I'm like in my stance kind of, and I look back and I'm like, what the fuck? I look straight and I like start crying on the field. So I'm trying to play the soccer game and I'm crying. And I don't know if we got a water break. I think there was like an injury or a water break. Yeah, because we go into the huddle and I go to Ashley Sanchez, which is like one of my best friends, go to her in the huddle while our coach is trying to give us direction of like what's working, what's not working. Cause like we were playing horrible the first half. I'm looking at Ash. I'm crying. No one knows what the fuck's going on. I'm looking at Ash and I'm like, dude, my dad's here. And she knew immediately. She was like, oh, fuck. She gave me a hug. She was like, it's okay. Let's just finish this half. Like we'll talk in the locker room at halftime. Just finish this half. Don't think about it. I was like, sure. Let me just forget.
Yeah. Classic.
Easy advice. So yeah, finish that half and then cry my eyes out in the locker room at halftime. And my coach was like, do you want to play? And I was like, yeah, I want to win. Hello? I'm like, he's not going to take me from winning this either, but you. So yeah, we finished the game.
Were you able to like play well?
Yeah. So I took the shot, ricocheted back, and Hatch scored it for us to win.
Yeah, you
Again,
did.
awesome.
Uh-huh.
And then after the game, when we were winning, there's that part in your head where like the whistle's gonna blow. And all I was thinking was like, oh my God, I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna talk to him, like what's gonna happen? The whistle blew and I was so like mad. I was like, you took this happy moment from me. Like you fucked with my head again. And he did it so many times and I don't even know. No, I think he knows what he does. But when the game ended, I was so angry. I was happy we won, but I was just like, And then I started getting mad at my mom because I was like, she had to have known. Why didn't she tell me like all this stuff? And then I walk over and again, there's cameras everywhere. Dennis Rodman's at the game, blah, blah, blah. And I walk over there and all I did was cry. I was like, I'm walking over there so mad, like, fuck you. I walk over there, he grabs my head and I just start bawling into his arms as if like it's a daddy-daughter, like. And I'm just like, this is the first game you've come to, quarterfinal, you missed the entire season, haven't seen my games in 3, 4, 5 years. And I'm just like bawling. I cried and then I was super happy. I was like, let's take the positive of it. He's here. Like, that's more than I can ask. So then we go into like this friends and family part after. We're like talking, whatever. He's asking me how everything's going. And it's like, honestly, like a pretty wholesome thing. Like, oh my gosh, imagine. So we're just like talking, catching up. And then I don't remember how it was left. I think I just went home because I had training the next day. And we just kind of left it at that. And he was just like, I want to see you soon. I'm in DC, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then after that, radio silence. I didn't see him for like until this year. I didn't talk to him or see him. Yeah, until I think. No. Yeah, right after the World Cup.
Wait, how many years ago was this?
3.
So
This is 2021.
So that happens in 2021.
And I'm talking to media. I put out this huge post like, we're not perfect. I love my dad. Like, this could be the start of something new. Like, I know, blah, blah, blah. Like, being super nice about it. Like, just grateful that he even showed up. I'm like, I don't know what it has in store, but I'm just happy that we got to have this moment together. Stupid me for thinking that was going to be some type of like new spark, because that was me every single time. He would come around and I'd be like, okay, here it is again. We're going to start something. He's going to be around. Boom. Months and months and months. This time it was years. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And so then it's like after that, then it's media outlets asking about the post, asking about him being there. So I'm like super positive. I'm just like, yeah, like obviously it was really emotional. I'm really happy. Months and months go by. I'm still talking about it on media. And I'm just like, fuck, here we go again. So then it was just like, I think after that was when I lost hope in like ever getting him back. It was just going to be like he's popping in whenever he wants to be in a camera. And even at that game, I don't think it was for me. I think he wanted to have a good conscience and then be like, headline, Dennis Rodman showed up to his daughter's game, an important quarterfinal in her rookie year. And that's exactly what it was.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I went and looked at that Instagram post and it, like, my heart sunk for you because obviously, like, I knew somewhat of the conversation we were going to have today, but I had obviously no idea of like the gravity of it. And it's so disheartening because you're right. Like, you walking over to him in that moment, it was all about the cameras. You couldn't have a normal reaction to be like, where the fuck have you been? And like you saying you're on the field angry. And then you don't get to have a normal moment with your father where a normal person could go up and be like, what the fuck? Instead, it's like everyone smile for the cameras and be happy. And then before you even get to have like a debrief the next day, like he's gone. Can you talk to me about like, didn't he like always change his phone numbers?
Yeah, even now, like I don't have his number saved. I think because he had called me like even these past couple weeks, he's been trying to call me. And it was just a Texas number. Didn't know he lived in Texas. So that's news to me. So I'm just thinking it's like spam risk, like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, they're just like spam calls, like normal. I get those all the time. So I was ignoring it. And then I see like voicemails from it. And I'm like, and then I look and I hear it for a second. I was like, fuck. And I think I heard it for a second because I saw that the voicemail was 40 seconds long. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And it's just like a hit or miss day for me. It's like if I want to go through that or not. And I'm just like, no.
Why is he always changing his phone number?
I don't know if it's changing or losing his phones or what, but again, he never has an iPhone. He always has a flip phone, and I honestly think he'll just like trash them and get new ones.
Of him calling you in like in moments throughout your life, and those moments where you're like, sometimes I have the patience, sometimes I don't. Is there any time he like called you that you remember and it like really fucked with you? Whether you were like about to go into a specific event in your life or you were in a specific situation and he calls and you like were like, this completely fucked me up and ruined my day, kind of like the game.
Yeah, I think it fucks me up every single time. Even I think now hearing his voice is like painful. Because I think it's missing him mixed with he's an alcoholic. And again, that's something that I don't want to say, but I'm just like, fuck it. Like, it's just the truth. And like, hearing even the past 5 years, hearing the difference in the way that his sentences go together. And now I'm like, I genuinely keep thinking, I'm like, he's gone. Like, it feels like he's gone. And like, hearing him talk, I'm just like, ugh. Like, I answer the phone now for like my conscience to be like, if something does happen, God forbid, I want to know that like I did that, or if he needed to hear my voice before anything happens. Like, that's why I answer the phone, not for me. But then I answer the phone and I have that conversation and I hear the way he's talking and how gone and drunk he is, and I'm just like, that was horrible. Like, I'm like, that did nothing for me. Like, if something were to happen, if I would have had that phone call and if I wouldn't have, I would have felt the same way.
Well, that's what, but you saying that, and I feel like there's a lot of people listening that can probably relate to having someone in their life that struggles with alcohol or substance abuse. And it's like the point you just hit on, which I think is so debilitating, and it keeps you kind of like a captive, because it's like, you're held captive to your dad because the thought is, if this has his last moment and he's calling me and he wants to hear my voice. So there's a world where you're going to pick up every fucking time because you're so fucking scared.
Like living for somebody else,
right?
Like living to make someone else happy.
Have you figured out any form of boundaries that has worked or no?
It's hard to make boundaries when he's like, it's a rare occurrence. Like if he were, say, calling me randomly every single week, okay, cool. But it's like so random that I'm like, you don't know when the next phone call is going to come. So it's like, what is a boundary?
What is the closest you've ever had with your father of like a heart to heart, somewhat scratching the surface of like, this is why he is the way he is? Like, has he ever spoken about his struggle with alcohol to you and tried to explain his behavior?
No, but I think not with the alcohol. With loving people, he's talked to me and my mom about, of just the lack of love that he's received from his parents or his dad relationship is kind of translates into how he loves other people. Because he loved my mom. I do not question that. She does not question that. He treated her like shit. So it's just weird. And it's like, to me, even after everything I said, he treats me the best. I'm like still his little princess.
Oh, really?
And I can't do any wrong. Growing up, he treated my brother like shit too. It's like, fuck you, you're not good enough. What are you doing with basketball? You're not, blah, blah, blah. And that's touching on a whole different thing with the hate that my brother gets being in the same sport. Like, I don't even, people and the insensitivity with that. It's like, you're never as good as your dad, all this stuff. It's like, he doesn't have to be. And also, he's not around. And I think too, I'm like just blabbling.
No, you're doing great.
But that's also another thing of like, that's the most he's talked to me about in terms of like loving my brother, the man to man thing. He doesn't know how to father in general, but especially to it. Like, he doesn't know how to show that. Like with me and my mom, he could at least hug us. Like, he knows how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that with my brother. And that's just, I mean, caused a lot of issues with my brother's confidence. And obviously hearing your dad say like, you're not good enough, all this stuff. And it's like, too, like playing with Bronny. It's like, you see Bronny and you see LeBron. And it's like, that is picture perfect, like holy. So even that is just a whole nother thing for my brother. And I don't want to speak for him. I'm sure when he's ready, if he's ever ready to talk about that, that's just another thing that my dad doesn't realize. He's affected so much of our like day to day. Yeah. Like, the reason my brother gets hate for basketball is because of him.
And I think like we would all, I agree with you when you're talking about the LeBron and Bronny situation, but like, I think we would all be idiots if we didn't think to ourselves like, damn, that's fucking hard for that kid. Like, that looks great, but even that 100%. Is so fucking hard. So imagine your brother.
Yeah, and like, I'm not, I did not mean to make that sound like, walk in the park.
No, I'm validating what you're saying of like, it looks like, wow, look how great that is. But it's like, even that, one can imagine how difficult that is of like being the son of LeBron James. You're like, damn, this is hard. And like, but the fact that LeBron is embracing his kid, being like, come with me, let you show you around. It's like, your brother, and I agree, like, not to speak for him, but I can only imagine the hurt it feels to have a passion that is essentially like constantly stripped of you because you're being constantly compared to your dad, when what your guys are really talking about, you're like, I don't want to be fucking compared to him.
Yeah, and that's, 100%. And the Bronny and LeBron, like, I've seen the hate that Bronny gets too. It's unbelievable to try to live up to being the GOAT of LeBron James. But I think with my brother, it's just,
you're never enough.
Like, it's sad. Yeah. And like, no one can tell him that he's enough because the one person that he wants to say is
enough.
Yeah. So it's tough.
Were you hesitant to talk about the real situation with your dad because of the hype around the Rodman name? Like, do you think people are going to still like not believe what you're saying today, but do you think people will still downplay it? Because it's like,
because I also think people look at us like, oh, poor me. Like, we're just trying to like get a check, or like, oh, pity story, try to like create this thing. But I think, I think there's a lot of times where it's always going to be like everyone on my dad's side, like for like Father's Day, like that day's shitty for people that don't have father figures. So for us, like, our coping mechanism for it was posting our mom. Like, happy Father's Day, thanks for being both. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to the father figures. Like, still a day to celebrate dads and fathers. But for us, that's our dad. That's our mom and our dad in the weirdest way. And even just comments like that, like, don't disrespect him like that. It's like, that's not disrespect. He's not a dad.
Right.
He's a person. He's not a dad. Maybe by blood, but nothing else.
Yeah. It almost feels like people are like frustrated that you speaking about what he was like as a dad is going to threaten his legacy as a basketball player. Yeah. Which is so fucked.
Yeah.
How do you think talking about this today is going to affect you and like impact the way you approach interviews moving forward?
I'm just like not going to give a fuck, honestly. Like, that's how I feel though. Cause I watch interviews back and I'm like, ew, why do I look so scared? Like, this is like my story.
Right.
And like, there are times where he gets brought up where I'm just like, he's like, I know he's proud of me. Like, and I'm like, ew, like, just say how you feel. And even sometimes I wish like, when people ask, oh, like, is he going to come to one of the Olympic Games? I don't know. And I'll dodge it and I'll be like, oh, like, my mom's going to be here. I'm going to give her a hug. And I'm like, great answer from a PR team.
Perfect answer.
Right?
Cherry
like,
on
in
top.
reality, like,
You don't know.
Not to be a diva, but I'm just like, I want to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know? Like, and that's it. That's the end.
True.
You make me feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable. And I feel like I've been so comfortable being uncomfortable, and I'm just
done. You're fucking done. Obviously, there's been like, I think the rise of your career has been fucking incredible, Trinity. Like, you're so fucking talented in your own right. And I can imagine moments like this where you are having this like Olympic run and your name is everywhere. And yes, you're sitting there and people are asking you like, oh, is your dad gonna come and is your dad gonna see the game? And it's like, why can't I just be enough? How has your relationship with your dad affected your love life?
You know what's funny about this is that like I literally just figured out what it affected. Like I would say a week ago.
What did it affect?
I think my love language is affection and like physical touch. But I think that's because I never got that from my dad and I never got that type of love. And because of that, he didn't show that to my brother either. So my brother's very similar to my dad in the way that he loves. Like he's, I don't want to say cold, but he's not a lovey-dovey, squishy person in a relationship. So I don't get that from my brother or my dad. So I think the way that I am in relationships, I don't want to say high maintenance, but I think the top priority for me is like feeling wanted and feeling like I want to be pulled in for a hug all the time. Like I don't want to pass you in the living room and for you to not want to touch my butt or like kiss me on the cheek or like just do something.
Right.
I know people can relate to that, but I genuinely feel like that has made me crazy.
I love you. Okay, wait. Did you have any relationships where you started to be like, fuck, I need to figure my shit out in the past? Because like we've all had fucked up relationships romantically. Like, did you see any of your family trauma seeping into your relationships that you can share with people maybe that have similar situation to you?
Yeah, I think my first relationship, I think obviously first relationships are always like kind of a what is love? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I think then I was extremely insecure in myself and I kind of let the person walk all over me in a sense. But again, I don't regret any relationship. I think they've all helped me so much and I'm still cordial with like everyone that I've been with. But I put up with a lot because I didn't have validation. So I feel like it's done a 360 now. But I would say I was really insecure and let a lot of shit slide back then.
Like what?
Like hanging out with the boys, right? Love that sentence, right? Right? Oh, hanging out with the boys. Okay, fuck off. But it'd be like hanging out with the boys, and I'd be like, damn, I wanted to hang out with you tonight. And happens, and then there's like 10 girls there. I'm your girlfriend. What do you mean? And those are also not the boys. So just stuff like that. And even that was the weirdest thing. It was that my brother was best friends with him. So my brother was there. So it was a push and pull with him of like, that's my best friend, but my sister's crying all the time.
My sister is sobbing. Get it together.
I learned a lot from that relationship. I think that was great. And like, even with that, we were still like best friends in the weirdest way. But I learned a lot of things of like, I'm not taking that shit. And I think that then helped me in my next relationship of like, I felt most confident in my next relationship. And then it was a different struggle of like, I'm so confident and I'm so happy that now I'm like too reliant on this relationship. And now I'm like isolating myself from everybody else because I'm like addicted to the feeling that he's given me, like the love and affection and like, you're beautiful and all this stuff. Yeah. So that was just another issue that I had to work through.
Well, I was going to say too, I feel like a big theme throughout our conversation of like talking about your growing up and talking about your relationship with your father, like there has been a lot of instability in the way that he communicates with you and his actions. Like you even saying like the drinking problem. Like I remember I wrote down like at one point your dad had a lot of controversial moments, obviously, but like the one where he befriended a dictator in North Korea and like, it's really not funny, but like we can laugh. But like you having to read that about your dad, that is a lot of like one day you don't hear from him, one day you're reading something on the news. Like that's very like destabilizing to like your reality of like your everyday. This person pops in, or you hear this on the news that your dad is making friends with a dictator in North Korea. Like, how have you learned throughout the years to just like stabilize your own reality and like keep your bubble as safe as you can when all the rest around you is kind of moving?
It's obviously so, it's just so weird. And it's like so hard not to be hurt by certain things, like reading things, getting updates through media.
Yeah.
And then people ask you and you're like, you probably knew before I did, or you probably honestly know more than I do.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. Or just like little stuff like him not being in my life, and then like other people. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but like I remember Angel Reese had wore his jersey to a game, and then there was a picture of them, and like he is a really famous basketball player, and like style wise, everything like inspiring. But I think as a daughter seeing that, it's like no shade, but it's like, damn, I wish that was me.
Right. Like, damn.
I wish I was taking a picture with him. I wish I was wearing his jersey. Like when I wear his jersey, I feel like it's not like holy shit, but like when Angel Reese wears it, it's like Angel Reese is wearing Dennis Rodman's jersey. And like I think that's like a sting to me. And I don't want to sound like bitchy at all, because again, statement, like pop off. But for me as his daughter, it's like, dad, what the hell? Like, it's just weird.
No, it's
and
like
those are the things you have to filter. And it's like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, but again, I think it's like, I think if I'm taking anything from this, it's also like, it's still a work in progress of like, he is your biological father. A part of you there is parts of him, right? And so like you love this person in ways that you can't describe. And as much as he hurts you, there's those push and pull moments where you're like, fuck, dad, why do you have to be like this? And then I also think it's really inspiring to hear you talk about like how you're like, no, I am carving my own path. And now can we just talk about like you as your own career? Like you are so fucking successful. You fucking crush it. You have a fucking gold medal on your nightstand that you're like, I forgot where it is. Where is it again? Where is it? Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Batiste Dry Shampoo. You guys, I am always running from a meeting to a dinner to an event. And if I'm being honest, I definitely don't have time to wash my hair every day. Okay. If I'm lucky, I can maybe wash it like once a week. So I really rely on Batiste Light Dry Shampoo to get me through. This is Batiste's lightest dry shampoo. It is soft, it is subtle, and it absorbs oil without weighing my hair down. Not only does my hair look clean, but it feels clean after just a few sprays. I am also super sensitive to smell, and Batiste Light has no overpowering fragrance. Plus, it absorbs right away without leaving that like grainy white residue behind. I brought Batiste with me to a girls trip last weekend, and I cannot tell you how many of my friends were like, Alex, can I borrow your dry shampoo again? The girls know I am always coming with multiple bottles of Batiste Light in my suitcase because when I'm on the go, I definitely need some help to keep my hair looking fresh. Batiste Light has been a complete game changer for me. So Daddy Gang, go buy Batiste Light Dry Shampoo online or in store at your nearest retailer. Winning and succeeding and being so successful and having sponsors and being a woman in sports in general is so fucking hard to do. Like, how do you fucking enjoy it for yourself and don't let this bullshit get to you some days? Like, who do you celebrate with? Who do you talk to about your success, individual of your dad?
I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to celebrate it in the weirdest way. Like, one, because it's just nonstop all the time. And like, I'm so grateful for every opportunity, but sometimes I'm just like, I wish I had a moment to take a breath and be like, I did that. Like, holy. Yeah. So to say like, who do I celebrate with? I don't know, because I don't think that I really do. Like, obviously, like I'm happy, or I'll watch a clip of like the Olympics, the goal. I'm like, oh my God, like, but it's little moments like that. Like, it's just rewatching a clip of something, but I don't think genuinely I really think or celebrate myself. I think it's more so, especially in interviews and stuff, it's like, how proud are you? And it's like, it's such a copy and paste answer through every interview. It's just like, I can't even
I'm
find the
so
words.
proud.
I'm like a robot. I'm like,
Right.
I'm so happy. Like, it's indescribable. I'm 22 and have a gold medal. And it's like, even in those moments, it's like genuinely deep down, I feel so proud of myself, but
Yeah.
it's so repetitive and so like robotic that I don't think of it that way. I'm just like, say it for the media and like.
No, but I think that's like really fucking relatable. Like, I think that's not like just you. I think that if you ask a lot of people when they have such intense success, I think it's so hard to try to grasp what's happening in the moment, because that would mean you have to stop. And I think you need time to process as a human being. And I feel like it sucks in one way, but you also, especially as athletes, it's like you got to keep fucking going, because even when you win, like you said, what did you say to me at the beginning of this? You said, oh, I didn't even have time to celebrate the gold because what did you go do?
Go play for a freaking championship. I'm lost. That was annoying. But
you flew back to America and you played
I
another fucking
literally
game.
played, I think, less than a week after I got back. No, that was
Dude.
just a lie. I lied. I think it was like a week and a half. But I played in the first game back and it was scored. But still, my legs were on fire and I was dying.
I think women are obviously so scrutinized in general, but sports specifically, I think, has been like a huge topic recently in a great way. But what do you think is the hardest part about being a female athlete?
Oh my gosh.
I know you're like, do you have 9 hours?
I think the recognition, for one. I think even just in conversation, it's like, oh, who do you play for? Spirit. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. I would say recognition, pay, obviously. Like, even just being on media. And it's like, obviously, NBA, NFL makes way more money, has way more viewers. Like, not taking that away. But I think seeing the contracts and then looking at ours, I'm just like, fuck. I'm so grateful to be making the money that I make right now at my age. But I look and I'm just like, it's just like, But also, I would say another big thing is like the human aspect of it. Like, I just feel like with male sports, with men, it's like they're out here going to concerts, on stage, going to clubs, going to all this. And it's like, oh, here this person is at a club drinking like 2 nights before a game. And it's just like, okay, normal. But it's like, I feel like me and my teammates will go out one night on an off weekend and we're like, we see a camera and we're like, oh my gosh, what if our coach finds out? What if somebody posts it? Like, and we're not even getting drunk. Like, we're just going to like be in public and just like
Feel the
dance.
vibes.
Yeah, just like feel like something.
We're just here to feel something. We're dead sober. We've had like half of a cocktail.
I'm like drinking Red Bull the whole time. Just like, okay.
No, but
yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's like the double standard of like, why can't, and it again though, like it hasn't changed though, I guess is what we're also saying. It's like your dad was known for I watched the Michael Jordan doc on like the whatever the fuck, the last something, sorry, oh my god, all the people
Last
are gonna,
Dance.
yeah, the Last Dance,
Got
sorry
you.
thank
I
you.
do know that fact.
Yeah, the Last Dance. And he's on a flight to Vegas and he comes back and he shows up in the middle and he's ready for the game. And it's like, if women behaved the same way that men did, it just, you wouldn't be in the position you're in, because we are expected to act differently and to speak differently in media and to present ourselves differently. And it's exhausting. And especially when you're getting to see men act a certain way and get bigger paychecks, like it fucking sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, it does, definitely. And I think, yeah, it's just annoying. It's just annoying.
No, but can I say, I do really respect you for sitting down with me today for a numerous amount of reasons. But when talking about the women in sports, I feel like something that, as someone that used to play but doesn't play anymore and is now in media, like I think something that can contribute to the sports growing is this.
Yeah.
Is the athletes becoming more well known for who they are individual of the sport, because the sports are fucking amazing. We love sports.
Yeah.
But who is Trinity Rodman outside of being on the field? And like I think that's what gets people so fucking excited and incentivized, on top of being a great big sports lover. Like there may be some people, I remember doing my show and people were like, oh fuck, I like watched soccer games and I've never watched a soccer game in my life, but I just like tuned in because like I listened to Call Her Daddy and like now I kind of love it. And it's like whatever we can do to get people to tune in, I think is so important, because like women do deserve the recognition that they don't get. So I appreciate you fucking speaking up, even if it's about something that you didn't want to talk about.
Well, no, like I appreciate it too, even if it makes me uncomfortable. I think too, like obviously like getting to know the person outside the sport, but also like we are going to have a life outside of soccer. Like if an injury happens or when we retire, like you can only play so long. So it's like, what is our life after that? And like, if we're only known for soccer, it is so hard to pick up the pieces and figure out what you're doing after that. Yeah. So I think for me, even growing up, like anyone close to me could tell you that I've always wanted soccer. Like I've always wanted to be an Olympic athlete, like World Cup winner, like everything. But through everything, I've always said, I don't want soccer to be my entire bane of existence. Like I don't want to live, die, breathe soccer. And I know a lot of athletes that do.
Yeah.
Respect. But I just think in the future, live, die, breathe soccer is not going to help me in the long run. And then I'm just going to feel like I lack purpose once I'm done playing. Yeah. And I feel like I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, moments like this really help me.
Yeah, look at your personality shining. You walking around with your ass out waiting for your boyfriend to smack your ass. Your outfit?
What's happening?
Your outfit?
My sweat's dripping down my...
So I know, I'm sweating. Okay, last question. What do you want your legacy in the sport to be?
I feel like my answer is simple. Just like, I want to be the athlete that brought the fun to sport. That's simple. I don't want to be the one that scored 1,000 goals. Like, I don't need to be the person that was like, she was the best athlete. I want to be like, she was a great athlete, but she also made it fun to watch and be a part of. Ooh, drop the mic.
Period.
That.
Trinity.
Life's too short.
Thank you so much for coming on Call Her Daddy. You crushed.
Yeah, thanks for listening to me.
Thank you.